Yellow, fellow people. Today I'll be taking a look at Transformers Legacy Evolution Voyager class Metalhawk. So before we take a good look at this figure, let's take a look at the packaging. So you can see we have the vehicle mode art, as well as the robot mode art, as well as a close-up of that said robot mode art. And you can see his name in Cybertronian. And you can see Legacy Evolution. He has plastic-free packaging, with the exception of tape and glue. And you can see the side. And if you have the Decepticon packaging, like Tarn here, yep, it's actually pretty cool. And you can see some product shots, as well as the Evo Fusion gimmick. And yeah, and his QR code's at the top, so scan it, be right back. So taking a look at the bio here, and you can see the weird lighting effect, and he's shooting at the ground for some reason. Anyways, he's an Autobot, his alt mode's a jet, he's the Space Commander, and he's from the G1 universe, and is a Pretender. And he has a titanium saber, which is capable of piercing through any substance with incredible ease. And he's the fearless leader of the Autobot Pretenders, tirelessly fighting to spread freedom throughout the universe. And he has 9 in strength and firepower, and 10 in intelligence and speed. So looking at Metalhawk in his robot mode and painting sculpting on Metalhawk is really good. So the coloring actually fits pretty well with the figure itself, though I kind of wish they painted the chest a bit more since it kind of looks dull. And the color matching is actually pretty well. So you can see how this is red plastic on the wings, but this part is also yellow plastic painted red, which is pretty cool. Same with the shoulders. Red plastic painted blue, and blue plastic. Yeah, not much else to say. And yeah, the sculpting is also pretty nice, as you can clearly see. And he's also a remold of King of Cyclonus, which is surprising since this figure manages to look very accurate to the anime he was in. Anyways, let's just move on to accessories now, shall we? He comes with 3 of them. He comes with 2 half guns, as well as the sword. So taking a look at the half guns first, they're sculpted pretty nicely, but they don't have any paint, which I kind of wish they did. And yeah, you can either combine these two, or you can have them dual wield, which is a pretty cool idea if it weren't for the fact that one of the guns are literally very loose, or kind of loose, as you can clearly see, which is usually what I like to plug the two together. And it's also because he can also dual wield with the sword as well. Pretty cool. Anyways, so let's talk about the sword now. So the sculpting is really good. I really like how it looks. There's even this hose over here. Not sure if how that's useful, but yeah, it's still really cool regardless. And yeah, it kind of compensates for the fact that this doesn't have that much paint at all, or if not, none at all. And you can also plug this onto the back, like so, with this weirdly shaped peg. Anyways, and you can also place it on his hand, like so. Anyways, moving on to my problems. I literally just named one of them, that being that one of the guns is loose. And another problem I have, it's the fact that there's actually no actual locking tab for the knees. It can get pretty annoying, considering how if you're going to rotate the knee, you're going to have to end up rotating this part as well. I mean, it at least gives him more visibility, but still, that's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, not much else to say. Let's move on to visibility now, shall we? Ball joint at the head, as well as a hinge joint due to its transformation. He can't really look up, but he can look down not so far. And he has a full 360 at the arms. He has his arms can spread out that far. Bicep swivel, but bend at the elbow. Wrist swivel, which is pretty tight. And what Perspective End likes to call the narcissist. Anyways, he has a waist swivel, he can take that far and back that far. Thigh swivel. He has an over 90-degree knee bend, as well as a very maximum pivot, which can go to a degree where his foot is literally flipped upside down, and a forward bend at the toe. So yeah, this figure is decently posable. So let's just move on to size comparisons now, shall we? Here we have them compared next to the Piggy Duo, as you can see right there. There you go. Here we have them compared next to Battle Class Shockwave, as you can see right there. Here we have him compared next to Studio Series Wheeljack. He's very small. And here we have compared next to Legacy G-axis. And geez, he almost reaches his height. I have heard that the actual Kingdom Cyclonus figure itself is pretty tall. Anyways, here I am compared next to Trigger Happy from the Titans Return toy line, because even though I don't have the Titans Return Metalhawk figure, I do have its original mold. And yeah, you can see how they probably would have scaled together. And here I am compared next to another pretender I have, and it's literally the only one, Iguanus. Yeah, there you go. So, let's move on to his transformation now, shall we? So, first thing you're going to do is you're going to fold these hands inside of his wrists. It's just a hollow gap. It doesn't get filled out. Anyways, to have these legs together, then you can just rotate these feet so it gives more clearance to fold these panels out and fold out the thrusters. Then you can bring these inside, close that up, and you can just fold these in on themselves, like so. Now you can just untap the chest. It's kind of hard to do without risking of breaking it. There you go. Then you can bring these arms back. Then you can just untap the back section now, and now you can just rotate this part. Fold out the cockpit. Wait, what? Fold out the nose cone. Then you can just tap this in and tap this in. Now we're just left with this. So basically, rotate this entire back piece, and then you just tap this over here, and tap these panels over here on these ports, like so. And then you just tap the arm onto the sides, like so. Same steps on the other side. There you go, finally. Then you just bring these wings and unfold them and tap them onto the arms, finally. And there we have him in his jet mode. So taking a look at Metalhawk in jet mode, and pretty much the jet mode doesn't look that bad. So the paint and sculpting is pretty good, and the coloring still fits pretty well. And I find it pretty strange how literally all of the yellow parts literally just disappear in jet mode, except if you look on the underside. Let's ignore that though. Yeah, and yeah, like always, the color matching is actually really good. And yeah, not much else to say about the jet mode. So you can actually incorporate the accessories onto the jet mode. So basically, the half guns, you can see these ports over here on the sides of the legs, and you just plug this onto here, and they become extra tail fins. Which honestly, that's actually a really cool idea, and it's pretty much a carryover to his original toy. Anyways, moving on, let's bring his sword in, and basically you can plug this onto the back. So basically, what I usually like to do is I usually like to plug it over here, but that's actually not the official way. It's apparently supposed to be on the back, it's supposed to be placed like this on the back. But I usually like to do that. But I usually like to do it this way, since it just reminds me of a jet mode clinging onto another jet. That's pretty funny. And the cool thing about the actual jet mode, it's actually bluish compatible. So bringing in 4 bluish effects for the thrusters, as you can see right there, they are indeed bluish compatible, and that's actually really cool. It's actually really cool how that even though this figure literally remolded thrusters, they still incorporated this. And yeah, and the wings are also bluish compatible, as you can clearly see. Not sure if this was actually intentional though. As you can see right there, there you go. There you have them, all weaponized. Anyways, so moving on to my actual problems with the jet mode itself, it's the fact that the cockpit looks ridiculously out of place. Like, this thing is very short. I'm guessing this is because of how the transformation goes, considering how this is supposed to be in the chest somehow. They should have at least kept that that actually really cool transformation that they kept with Cyclonus. That they did with Cyclonus. They should have done that. They should have kept it though. Or I'm guessing it's because of how the Cyclonus mold itself doesn't actually fit well with these kinds of cockpits. I don't know. What do you think? Anyways, let's just move on to size comparisons now, shall we? So, be right back. Here I am compared next to the Piggy Duo, as you can see right there. Here I am compared next to Battle Class Shockwave, Studio Series Wheeljack, Legacy Iguanus, and Titan's Return Trigger Happy. So you can see how the Titan's Return Metalhawk figure would have looked compared to him. Okay, just doing a better comparison. There you go. So my overall final thoughts on this figure: he's actually pretty great. So if you want to figure that, if you haven't gotten the Cyclonus mold and really wanted that figure, I'd say this is a pretty good chance to get him. This is actually a pretty great second chance to actually get him, even if most of the figure is remolded. So yeah, the robot mode's pretty good. Transformation wasn't that bad, and the actual all mode is okay. It's just the cockpit that's the problem. But yeah, this is basically it for this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.